Hello, and welcome back to the Thursday Night Kissaten podcast. Thursday Night Kissaten is a podcast that we talk about Japanese TV shows, movies, books, and other pop cultures. We update weekly every Thursday night around 5 p.m. This podcast is written and hosted by me, Cordelia. Hello, my dear listeners. How are you all doing? How's September treating you so far? In today's episode, we're diving into a TV show that was aired last year called My Second Youth. My Secondo Aoharu. It stars Alice Hirose and Shunsuke Michieda from Naniwa Danshi. Spoiler alert, we're going to discuss some key details about the show and also a TMI alert that I will also share some of my personal experience as someone in their 30s going back to school alongside the people in their teens and early 20s. At the end of the episode. At the opening of this TV show, our main character, Sayako, she rides on a bike and says, I want to change my life. I want some changes in my life. So this TV show follows Sayako, who after facing the troubles at work and in life, and decided to take university exam to studying architecture. The show describes this as the second chapter of her life, but in reality, it's a return to where she was always meant to be. Sayako's journey is about rediscovering her path and having the determination to change her life. She is fighting for her future, love, knowledge, and also dreams. I have to be honest, this is a very good show. I rewatched it again this year, which is 2024, after the long summer vacation that I had. So Sayako's story is beautifully illustrated in the idea that eventually we'll find our own path, or true path, or it is never too late to chase your dreams. Very cliche, right? But think about this. I personally, when I was in my college, there was some students, my classmates, who are a little bit slightly older than the other crowd. They are in huge stress. It's not very common that in East Asian country that rejoin the school after, you have been working in society for a while. That's not common. As also for Sayako. Sayako is the oldest daughter of a gift shop owner in the Fuji city, which is the city near the Fuji mountain. She always dreamed of becoming an architect, but due to her family's financial struggles, she gave up on university in high school. She convinced herself that she did not need to go to university only because her family cannot afford it. And after a series of setbacks, including an accident that left her with 2 broken arms on the day of her entrance exams, Sayako abandoned her plans. She had a plan, right? She was saying, I can't go, we are not financially allowed. Her high school teacher encouraged her to take the exam. She tried studying for it, encountered with the accident, and she just have to give up. But Sayako, then she moved to Tokyo and worked in underpaid contract jobs for 12 years until she was laid off and had another bike accident. And then with the compensation, that money that she got and received, she decided to give her dream another shot. So finally, after 12 years, she retook the university entrance exam and she was accepted into the faculty of architecture, the dream school that she wanted to go. The show really does a great job of portraying Sayako's life in Tokyo. Like, is relatable to many people, like the low salary, the struggle with the bills, and the feeling that no matter how hard that she worked, her life wasn't improving. Watching her navigate those challenges resonated deeply with me and others, and many of us can relate that feeling of trying to survive but forgetting what it means to be truly to be alive. Still, at the opening of the show, Sayako's narrated voice came out and said that for a teenager, that they think they can be someone. For someone at their 20s, they're constantly questioning who they are. And for someone in their 30s, she was so confident and tells herself that I think I'm becoming myself. I'm getting there. As I mentioned earlier, that a lot of people that I knew in the past who were in the school and studying with a lot of people who were way younger than them, they were under huge pressure, and it happened that they all East Asian females. Here in the show, that they really address that the age is just a number when someone is aware of who they are and have their life together. It's just a number. But it can be daunting when someone feel like that they haven't achieved anything. But which Sayako category that she belongs to. In the show, that Sayako's journey is about recognizing when something isn't right and finding the courage to fix it. To break the pattern of the life needs two things. One is the courage. One is the courage to break the pattern. It's the action. And the second is the courage to take on the feelings of uncertainty. Sayako has both of it. Her strength comes from the shameless curiosities and open to learn. Even when it was hard, she listened to the advice and returned to university studying what she loves. She did not lie to herself. She follows her own heart. And of course, there are other people surrounding the story, isn't it? So let's talk about another person. His name is Taku, the younger guy who enters Sayako's life. I can't help but laugh just thinking about it, We'll get to more detail about him later. But for Taku, it's never too late. That's what he says. He believes that in taking actions whenever the time is right. Oh, by the way, Taku is a very genius, talented architect, and he was in school. He won a lot of prize. He's a golden star. His words encouraged Sayako move forward. So, he believes in taking actions whenever the time is right. And for him, and the time is now. Sayako, depicts being older. She's strong and brave with the wealth of life's experience. She lived alone when she was in Tokyo. She worked in a big company and fought for her rights. She did. She tried everything that she could. But going back to school gives her the time to rediscover herself. Finally, she got the time to relearn about herself, unlearn and relearn about herself. Compared to all those young people around her, the one thing that she has Well, she knows who she is, and she's unafraid to stand up for what she needs. Her classmates adore her because they think she's cool. Sayako is confident, direct, unashamed of her age and her own life experience. She knows how to stand up for people and also for herself, and she also knows how to argue and fight and ask for help. That's a great thing that she knows. She knows how to ask for help, and she takes charge of her own life. But at first, because of the age gap, and also a lot of people went to high school together when they moved on to university, she definitely felt a little bit lonely. But as many of her classmates already know each other from high school. Now I get it, If I was there, I would love to be her friends, 100%. But on the creativity and experience perspective, one of the fantastic job that they did in the TV show is to construct between Sayoko's life experience and the raw, unfiltered creativity of her younger classmates. As we aged, we tend to accumulate not only wisdom but also cautions. You will be like, okay, this is a good idea, but in the reality, people tends to talk like this. But life has taught us the risk that we can lead to failure, and the failure often comes with the consequences that we would rather to avoid. This can make, us more hesitant to experience or step outside our comfort zone. For Sayako, this manifests as a challenge to tap her into the creativity's potentials. So the weight of her past experiences sometimes acts as a barrier, and making her second guess of her, her ideas and the favor of the safeties and a particular path. She, at her first semester, first class, just with the very limited knowledge that she knows about architect, and she was being asked to do a full presentation on a design. The design actually doesn't require anything, just ideas, but she got so afraid. She went blank. She didn't know what to do. But the show beautifully illustrated how creativity isn't solely about the age, but also about the man side. Younger people that like Taku and all the other people that Sayaka met at her class that haven't been conditioned by the repeat of failures or the fear of judgment. First year, right? Even the critique can be hard, but they were like, so what? They approach the problems with fresh eyes and underburdened by the same concerns, and are more willing to be bold and unconvincingly to give a try and steps. It doesn't mean that Sayoko's creativity is lost. It's simply, tempered her by her experience. But when the youthful energy of her classmates meets her, second season perspective, it creates a really good way of her own creativity. So together they challenge each other, blending the wisdom with the raw imagination to produce the ideas others could have generated alone. This is the thing. I think this is also reflect on, the workplace. At my workplace, sometimes you will hear your coworkers being like, oh, you young people, you don't understand, or because you're younger than your coworkers and they second guess you, and they telling you that your ideas is not practical enough. But the thing is, this is kind of and they always give you the comments about you look too young and you don't know, you look like you don't know anything. That is also a type of age discrimination. We need people from different generations, from different perspectives, culture backgrounds, to work together and to bring on new, fresh ideas. So this is what Sayako have learned, and she not being considered as a cool person, but she also learned a lot from her own classmates, the creativity part, to abandon all those scarcity she had, the trauma that she had built while she was working in this big company in the past, right? So Sayoko's journey reminds a lot of can be inspired at any age. It's nothing about age. Yes, the way how people grow up, the environment of the society definitely influence a lot, but it shouldn't stop the ideas, the curiosity of exchanging the ideas. Like Sayako, that her surrounding herself with the people who think differently, she learns to overcome her own limitation. She appreciates other people's ideas, rediscovering the imaginative sparks that once drove her dream becoming an architect. It was truly a struggle when you watch the show, that like the first several episodes, the how struggle that she was. It is such a powerful message that the age doesn't have the dim of creativity. But sometimes it just takes a little bit more effort to find the flame. It's still there, and it's always there. And deal with the trauma will helps the sparks to turn into a burning fire. University is more than just learning. This is another message that's been passed through the TV shows. At the start of her journey, Sayako reviews the university as a purely academic elevator. That a place to gain the knowledge and qualification that she needs to finally pursue her dream. But as she settles into the new phases of her life, she quickly realized that university is so much more than a place for lectures and exams. We all know the club, the roommates, the community, and potentially friendships and also romantic partnership, isn't it? So, university is a microcosm of life itself and a space where people come together not just to learn but to grow, explore, and sometimes even lost themselves for a while. It's confusing because this life is confusing as well. Through her classmates Malie, Sayako gets a kind of glimpse of the social side of the university life. She moves into a shared house with other architecture students, and it's there at the house that she starts to see the true value of her university experience. It's not just about the class or the grades, it's about the people, about the conversations, the shared struggles, and the bonds formed over the late night studying sessions or outings. University becomes a place for Sayako to engage in her self-discovery and to reconnect with the parts of herself that she had long forgotten. It is about more than just the textbook and projects, but the projects actually bring people together, so she still enjoys it a lot. It is about learning who she is when she's away from the pressure of the outside world. Meeting right people in the right community definitely provide the healing, safe space for someone if they want to look for themselves. And plus, Sayako's age and her life experience already bring her to a place that she knew what she wants, right? She knew what she was looking for. The show makes it clear that education doesn't happen only in the classrooms. It happens in the quiet moments of reflection, in the living room, the friendship that challenge us, who does the cleaning, who takes out the garbage on which day, and in the experience to push us to relink our place in the world. To be very honest, I think Sayako's really, her second life, her second chapter is really it's a good one. It was really a good one. I think it's really because of her age that she knew what she's looking for, and then being open and her own personality, being curious about the world, very open in mind, and allow the things that happen to her. About that guy Taku's perspective further depends on this understanding that he believes that wasting time is an essential part of staying young. He thinks it's okay because they're young. Even though they're doing nothing, sitting around, reflecting themselves, thinking about the future, having the, useless conversation, small chat, but it still is a part of being present. For him, for Taku's, university isn't just meant to be an end. It's a period of life to observe, to savor it, and a time to explore without constructs adulthood pressing down too heavily. I think so, definitely. And this philosophy resonates with Sayako, who begins to see the time spent socializing, experiencing, like walking around to look at the buildings and even making mistakes is not a waste at all. I know a lot of people who are already in their 30s and 40s, they always say that, like, I have not that much time to waste anymore. I'm busy. I'm on the clock all the time. I need to get this and this and this and this done. But here with Taku's philosophy, no, chill, relax. You temporarily stop at one point to breathe and restore yourself will help you to move forward even further in the future. It is a part of the progress of becoming, right? And of evolving into the person that we want to be. Fortunately, that at the end, that Sayako learns university isn't just about the degree, it is about living. Like, in every sense of the word. 4 years is quick. Like, in the whole TV show, it presents all her 4 years. It was fast. I did not expect that can be this fast. And then, it's for Sayako that is about finding joy in the little moments, discovering new passions. And most importantly, allowing herself to be free, to get the freedom to grow without the fears of failure. This experience helps her to reclaim the time that she felt she lost. Oh, I can so relate this. And also providing that it isn't too late to start anew and to learn and to live fully. It's never too late. We can start anytime we want. It can be next year. It can be right now. It can be next month. As long as we're still alive, we can start at any time to change the life or to give some changes. Just do something. If you have dream, we have dream, go chase it. It can be any time. Of course, this is the second chapter of Sayako, right? Of course, there are romantic relationships involved. I'm not gonna say, what? I will just have a little bit spoiler here, okay? Like, Sayako and Taku, of course, they shared a kiss at the end of episode 4 in the swimming pool in the mist hot summer, okay? Yes. That's all I'm gonna say. Sayako in the show is truly living her best life. And think about that, Taku is way younger than Sayako. This girl, she figured out her specialty, and then she just letting, but the thing is, okay, what I'm gonna share is like, Sayako, she found out her own specialty at the end. She knows what kind of work and firm that she wants to work for. And she also just let Taku pursue his dream while she's working on her own. Yeah, of course. She is cool. She is the main character of the show. She is also the main character of her own life. I appreciate the TV show so much that there is no a situation that who gives up their dream to compensate another party. No. Sayako says, you go ahead, pursue your dream. I go ahead, do my own thing. Taku eventually proposed. Yeah, that happened in the show, but I just like how Sayako always chooses herself first. That's all I'm gonna say about the romantic love part. But it's really exciting. Oh god. But it's not the whole show focused on. It's still focused on Sayako's her life and her choice and the way of her finding herself. So, and also friendship. That should be highlight more, of course. Also, at the first episode of the show, that Sayoko's high school teacher said, not going to university won't kill you, but never trying to make your dreams come true or taking the action towards the life you want, you will be regret. So here is another TMI alert. I'm going to share a little bit of my own experience, so it's a good time for the pause, you to click out if you do not want to hear about it. Okay, here is the part I want to share a little bit about my personal life that very related to the show. So funny enough, my birth name is Sayoko, given by my Chi-chan. The name is almost the same. And at the age of 31, I decided to pursue a bachelor degree in creative writing at an art university. I'm now going to my third year. When I was watching the show, it was my second year. And then before moving here, I kind of endured incredibly the hard time for about 10 years. Very similar, just like Sayako, that, you know, it was like one thing after another, hill after hill, and then I was only surviving, not living, and with no time for simply just being. And at that time I was in Vancouver, and Vancouver's rain made everything even worse. But after securing a very reasonably like paying job, and I would just like, you know, also putting myself together, I knew that if I didn't take the action towards my dream of becoming a writer or a literary translator, you know, or making this podcast, I will regret so much that, you know, that would eat myself alive. I might even, you know, I don't know, I might even come back to another life just to fulfill this desire. So I went for it, and one night I applied. I think it was 2-3 weeks before the school started. I just applied and sent my writing samples into to our editor, Amazing Grace, and for feedbacks and a compiled portfolio. And I also recorded a spoken word piece and just hit the submit button. It just happened, and here I am. I made it. I made it. You know, for me, being able to read and write creatively in English is already a miracle. It's even not my first language. But you know, I like this TV show a lot. This TV show came out from nowhere, but really shows that the struggle that Sayoko have that I can so relate is also after my first semester that I questioned all the marks I have received from our professor. So I approached our department chair and to ask if I should continue, because it was just, you know, it seems like maybe I did a wrong decision. But because, you know, let me explain, dear listeners, that English is my third language. You know, at that time, like I had only been learning English for only like 11 years or something, and I didn't do too bad, but some comments from the professor made me wonder if, you know, readers who only understand English, I don't know whether the readers who only read English or from an English-speaking background are ready for a writer like me, you know, who isn't right for the white colonial audience. So, but, you know, just like Sayako in the TV show that our professor told me, there's something very similar, that Cordelia, that you meant to be here. You're in the right place. We have been waiting for an emerging writer like you for a very long time, so you truly belong here. So I was like, okay, so I stay. You know, a lot of comments that I got was like, oh, your writing is not Canadian enough, or like, you know, like, but it's similar to Sayoko that like she realized that her specialties is not serving the whole entire big audience, but she has very niche audience group. So she stays, right? And as for my classmates, I don't really care about how they think about my age, right? Like, you know, during my first semester, aside from the girl sitting next to me in the class, I didn't know anyone else's name. I didn't really care, to be honest. I definitely heard people say that I'm fat, old, and ugly, but you know, this is just how they're projecting their own insecurity onto me, because as I mentioned that age discrimination especially dislike the people who are older, or the people who are older have like pressure, stress among the younger people. That's a very common in East Asian culture, or in Asian culture. I can't say this representing to a lot audience, but it happens. I remembered my classmates who are a little bit older in the past, that they were extremely stressed, and when they're stressed, I ask them the reason is always about their age, even though no one will truly judge them in the class. It's just something, right? So I knew that was, and I know that's a projection. That's not truly what happened about me. So it's nothing about me, to be honest. But even now that I still don't really know my classmates' names and their face, but seems many know who I am, I guess. Because writing is kind of like not like the architectures what Sayokos in the TV shows are learning, that they need to do a lot of group projects. The writing is very lonely. We just write on our own. So anyway, back to the TV show that I could relate to Sayoko heavily. You know, steps as she walked home. I can see, you know, I remember seeing the thing that she was like walking very slow back home in Tokyo, and you know, I know her worries. I hear her doubts, her courage, and her choices. The entire show, I was like, girl, I hear you. I can relate even more after my own back accident. This is a great TV show. Anyone who needs a moment to be encouraged or to be healed, this is definitely a good one to watch. Thank you again for listening to this episode, and also my personal story if you stayed this long. Please give the TV show a try, and I will speak to you again in our next episode.